internet. So as some of you are aware, and if you're not aware, go back a video and you'll find out, this thing failed its MOT quite drastically. So today we're going to try and get it to a point where it can at least get through an MOT. Now I know the engine is so the purpose of today is to make sure that this thing here, so that the shell or the moving parts or the rolling bits, the bits that are actually needed for the MOT, are good enough so that it can get an MOT. Now I'm aware that the engine is going to blow up any time now because the bottom end's essentially going to fall out, as this clip here shows we found a bit of metal in the sup. There's nothing really concerning in here apart from this large piece of metal. However, despite that, obviously I've got this engine here, it's the PD130 engine, to go into that thing. We don't know when we're going to start that, so what I'm going to do is literally just use this engine until it explodes, and when it explodes we'll worry about it then. But in order to get it through an MOT to the point of where I can actually use the fan, we have to get the rolling parts, good. We have to get it an MOT. So this video is going to be fixing things. Got a pair of wheel bearings. I can't fit these because I need a press. Brake discs, brake pads, we've got brake shoes down here. I've got a drive shaft on the way. I'm hoping I can get most of this fitted today with any luck, but I've never done brake shoes before, so that might be fun. We're going to start on the driver's side with the discs, the pads and the ball joint, because the passenger side needs a drive shaft, and that hasn't turned up yet, so I'm just waiting on DPD for that one. Now, the confusing thing about this is obviously you can see the disc itself not in bad shape. The brake pad on this side looks chunky, looks barely used. Yet if we go on the other side, turn the light on, there is almost no pad. Little trick is that right now, if for example you've got this bolt here on this retaining bracket that is munched on really hard, obviously spray it with some WD-40 first, and then what you can do is you can make your own DAC gun by just hitting the end of this with a hammer. So fun fact, the old brake pad, the reused one, was Rhodos. The new one, no brand. So at some point somebody just fitted outside pads. Why? Morning. It's a different day. Not everything went to plan yesterday because all bolts were seized and it started to rain all over the place, which was really annoying, so we had to stop. However, we are back. We're attacking this drive shaft because, as you can see, that's not very healthy. The whole drive shaft's going to be replaced. I've ordered a new one. It's here. So we've got to take those bolts out. On this end of it you've got a hub nut which will be tight as hell. Personally I had to use several breaker bars in order to get this thing off, using a 30mm socket straight on the end like that. Boff, comes straight off. Now the part I'm replacing it with is a used part. It came from a breaker's yard. However, it's Stevens Volkswagen Breakers in Chelmsford, and they've never done me wrong yet. So let's probably have the textbook white writing on it. Oh, nice. Even came with the bolts, which is handy because I just ruined my ones. Sweet, straight in, give it a bit of a clean up. Good to go. Right, so the front knuckle, if you want to call it that, the front podger, front wang, you then want to put your washer on, put this nut back on, don't tighten it yet, you don't need to, because you're going to need the wiggle room. Then what you do is you get your tool that's made up of this into this, into this, into this, into this, into this, and you put the bolt in. Morning. Day 3. I had a hell of a time getting these things apart yesterday. They were all kind of seized up and rusty and just terrible. So we've got them all stripped apart. We've now managed to build the new shoes into them. The old shoes really weren't that bad, but they were just covered in crap and stuff. So it's best to start with a fresh platform. These are a nightmare to put together. Never done that before, but that was fun. And now I've got to adjust the handbrake, because at the moment, if you pull the handbrake up, it sort of hits you in the chin. So we're going to put these back together. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Firstly, you'll see I've painted the drum because you get like 20 more horsepower for that. And secondly, we thought that this wheel bearing was absolutely shagged. However, it just turns out that the thread, as I'll show you in this picture here, the thread was actually destroyed. So the bolt wasn't actually holding the wheel on. That could have come off whenever. No movement. Hey, I'm indoors. It's cold. I forgot to film an outro for this video, so I'm just gonna do it now. It's a week later, I'll be honest with you. But yeah, thank you for watching. Obviously, the idea behind this is to then go and get another MOT to try and run it through again, and just hope that at some point soon it's road legal. I think the engine's going to blow up in the emissions test though, so that could be interesting. Subscribe.